We return now to our top story, the bipartisan agreement reached by lawmakers to avoid another partial government shutdown. I spoke a short time ago with Democratic Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont. He played a key role in brokering the compromise. I asked him if Democrats are happy with the outcome.
Well, on a compromise, nobody gets everything they want. This was something that Republicans and Democrats have worked extraordinarily hard on, both the House and the Senate. We did the last couple of weeks almost every evening, through the weekends, and finally came to a final agreement in my office in the Capitol last evening. We all had to give something, but we've got a good deal for America. Now, it might not be a great deal for one person or another politically. We want to get the best deal for America.
So, Senator, we understand the report is that there's $1.37 billion in funding for a border barrier, something like 55 miles of barrier. President Trump is saying that's not enough, that he plans to use other methods to come up with money. Maybe they're saying as much as $1.8 billion in addition to this from other sources. Is this something Democrats are going to go along with?
Well, the president also gave his solemn word over and over again during the campaign that it wouldn't make any difference how much they spent because Mexico would pay for it. Well, that never happened. Then he gave his word that it'd be a solid coast-to-coast stone wall or cement wall. Of course, that's not going to happen. I think what we tried to do is put barriers where it makes sense, but do all the other things that make sense. For example, most of the drugs come through ports of entry, have better detection equipment, x-ray machines and others to detect it. A wall won't do anything to stop that, but well-trained agents and equipment can do it. We're trying to be realistic. He wants to be rhetorical. I'll take realism to rhetoric anytime.
But if the president does take funds that are designated for other sources and uses that money instead to build a border, a physical barrier at the border, are Democrats going to try to stop him?
Well, he doesn't realize it, but there's very limited what he can transfer money from. What's he going to do? Take it from the military and then turn around and say the military needs more money? Is he going to take it from infrastructure or repairing our roads that are in bad shape? Is he going to take it from opioids and then say we got to do something about the opioid crisis? No, the areas are very limited. If he goes into the Homeland Security bill, is he going to take it from the electronic equipment, the night vision, all the other things that our border security people tell us they really need? Say, no, I'm going to put this on a wall where it doesn't make any sense.
But my question is, are Democrats going to let that happen?
Well, we would certainly object to it, but I think Republicans would too. You have to reprogram the money. I don't know many Republicans or Democrats who are willing to reprogram the money. And if he takes it anyway, then he's got a real court challenge.
Senator, Democrats earlier were saying they wouldn't go along with $1 for a physical barrier. We know Speaker Pelosi said that. Now it's up to $1.37 billion. Republicans are saying Democrats caved.
No, we are giving the same amount of money we said last year. And of course, the president shut down the government, costing America $10 billion because we had offered around 1.3. Now, a month and a half later, after all the stress and strain and family disruption, the shutdown cost, and the $10 to $11 billion it cost our country, and he said, okay, I'm going to accept what you gave us last time. Now, the Democrats, we've always insisted on this ballpark. They've always insisted on $5 billion. We compromised last night in my office to the figure we have.
But Senator, you also know that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had said not $1, nothing for a border. And I guess my question is, if it was going to be the position you'd go along with this much money, why not do it earlier? Why go through the shutdown?
We did it earlier. We voted for it earlier, and he still had the shutdown. So when the Republicans were in charge of both the House and the Senate, that's what went through almost unanimously in the Senate. He still shut down the government. There's nothing that, if he's going to shut down the government for the amount the Republicans gave him, I don't know why Speaker Pelosi or anybody else should be saying, oh, here, we're sorry, we don't want to upset you, we'll give you more money. The fact is, that's the amount of money everybody said he'd get, that's the amount of money he's going to get.
Senator, from the other side of the political spectrum, liberal Democrats like New York Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. Today she was tweeting, she said this deal is giving money to a government agency that separates children from their families. She wrote, she said, Trump is not building a wall, he's building detention camps for kids, and we're falling for it.
Well, I wish you'd spend some time in the committees and listen to the debate by both Republicans and Democrats. More complex than that. We're actually cutting the detention beds from around 5,000 down closer to 4,000. The other thing we need very, very much are immigration judges so that we can expedite the screening of these people, and we put that money in there. Now, this year, anybody's free to vote against the money for opioids, vote against the immigration judges, vote against the limitations on the wall. I'm not going to criticize anybody, Democrat or Republican, who votes for or against it. But this is something that Republicans and Democrats came together. We agreed on this deal late last night, and I think it's a good one.
Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont, who was part of the final negotiations on this border agreement. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Judy.